Hey, what's up, everybody? So, quick correction. When I did talking about episode 7 of Twisted Metal, I had episode 8 up, and it meant to be episode 7. So, I wanted to make that quick correction. So, uh, episode 8 was fantastic, and I looked up. I wasn't sure like who made the Twisted Metal TV show, and I looked it up real quick. It was Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick, who wrote the Deadpool movies. And I'm like, if anybody that is perfect to make Twisted Metal, it's Rhett Reese and Paul Wernick. Oh my god, that it's fantastic. I'm hoping a season 2 will get announced. I've got 2 more to go. I'm gonna try to crank them out before I have to go to work. But real quick, talk about the episode. So we see John Doe uh, when he was younger, and seeing how he got his amnesia, and um, while John Doe and Quiet was driving, uh, Quiet finds the picture of John when he was younger and with his parents, because the picture got burnt in the fire, but it survived somewhat. But anyway, and it blows out the window, and then John like freaks out. So they're outside trying to find the picture that John has with them, and they find the picture, but then you see some hooded people taking Evelyn, and I'm like, I don't know why it made me think of that. I'm like, I wonder if Preacher is gonna come into this episode. And I was so right. I was like, oh my god, there's like another character from Twisted Metal Black, which you see here, which I freaking love this game so much. So Preacher is played by Jason Mantzoukas, who was the TikTok man in John Wick. The guy that was like, tick tock, Mr. Wick. And I was like, first I thought it was the guy that played Scarecrow in Titans, but it wasn't. So, and they actually kept the backstory. He mentions the backstory of Preacher. So in Preacher, the his backstory is that he was a preacher who um, one night a family brought um, their child into the church, and the child was possessed by the devil. So the devil ended up possessing Preacher, and Preacher like murdered everybody in his church. And when the police came, the demon left his body. So when the police arrested him, they took him to Blackfield Asylum. So while he's in his cell, uh, the demon speaks to him. So then now he's an evangelist that goes around asking for forgiveness for what he did. But it was a different role for. It seemed like it was a different um, on take for Preacher. It was kind of different because Preacher is a lot older in the game, and I'm like, okay, it's a little bit different, but Preacher still kind of cool. And so yeah, and they definitely followed the story very perfectly because when John and Preacher were fighting, the gas tank got punctured and gas started to leak. And I was like, okay, so this is how it is in the Twisted Metal game series, is that Preacher ends up destroying Evelyn in an explosion, and it definitely followed the game perfect because Evelyn ended up getting destroyed, and John loves this car like it's his baby, it's his girl. So at the end we see Evelyn in shambles. So now in the game, he ends up getting Roadkill. So that's his name of his new vehicle. So I'm wondering if in episode 9 or 10 we're going to see John with Roadkill. But yeah, I'm like, the source material is really good. And they're mostly bringing a lot of the characters in that I'm familiar with the games. And I can't wait to see how these last 2 episodes end, especially the season 1 finale. Like, episode 8 was fantastic. I if you're kind of on the fence about like, oh, I love the games, but I don't know they're gonna mess up the the TV show. It's got like a 94% for somebody who is a huge hardcore fan of Twisted Metal Black, as you see here. The show is fantastic. I love it. Definitely give it a try. So that is my spoiler chat for episode 8, Evelyn.